Hello, everyone. Welcome to our presentation from Smart Apps. At Smart Apps, we want to build the generative AI for enterprise data. So in this presentation, I will begin with overview ideas behind the Smart Apps and talk about what we want to achieve. And then we want to go to our demonstration of our product so that you can see it in action. So let's just start with the general idea. So when people have data, the general question people ask is what kind of smart decisions that I can make from the data. Currently, there are a lot of tools that are on the database side and on the analytic, business user side, the business intelligence tools that allow the analytic engineer and data analyst to build this kind of data models to surface important data to the end user. However, all these tools are manual and slow. It takes quite a long time to build the high quality data models, and the end user is suffering from the delivery time. So they normally wait at least weeks and up to a month for analytical result to be delivered. At Smart Apps, we want to re-engineer this process so that you don't need to do a long marathon before you can deliver the value to the end user. In here, we first talk about LLM, which is a game changer. At this moment, large language model can be used to do a lot of creativity actions in natural language processing. However, it can introduce hallucination and it doesn't understand data. So at Smart Apps, we introduce the left brain, which we call the large data model. Just like a large language model understand language, large data model understand your data. It is do data-driven reasoning. It is pre-trained on 1 billion data models from Snowflake Marketplace. So it understands what kind of transformation is high quality, what kind of transformation should be done for your data so that it can be used for the analytic work. So when we combine the LDM, the factual left brain, with the LLM, the creative right brain together, we can re-engineer this data analytic process to make it a faster delivery result to the end user in minutes or up to an hour. So the only thing that the people need to do now is just connect with your data. And the LDM will begin to learn and understand the data and begin to generate data models automatically. When it generates models, it also generates descriptions and topics are out of it so that you can understand what's in your data, what question it can be used to answer. And then you can begin to ask natural language questions and let the large data model to figure out what is the proper data model to answer your question. After you see the result, you can just do a lot of activities on top of the high quality data models that you think are relevant to your questions, and everything that the data modeling, the data pipelines are behind the scene. It is managed by us, and you have a dedicated and secure environment. In this way, we want to make data talk to everyone so that not only the data experts can do data analytic works, but also a billion of the business users who can talk in natural language to express their needs. They can use Smart Apps to achieve their data analytic result as they want. So now let's see it in action. So assume that we get the data set that from Snowflake Marketplace. So what you need to do is just put your connection here and point into your data set. Here we get the financial economic essential data set from the marketplace, which this one contains the macroeconomic indicators and the bank sector data to give user a view of the current financial industry in US, so that we can understand how the financial looks like now. So it contains 12 tables and 200 columns. The total model that it can really generate is about 40 million, and the total virtual is even more because for each data model, you can have different ways to virtualize it. At the Smart Apps, what we first do is that let the LDM to determine which one among these 40 million are high quality, and how do we narrow down into a set of high quality data models so that we can deliver business values to the end user immediately. So in this example, that we are successfully to narrow down into about 1,000 high quality models. And you can see that all their descriptions, all their information are displayed here. You can see all the topics that it generates to answer your questions, and you can directly search any kind of descriptions and try to understand what is behind in the data for that. Let's just look at any kind of LDM learns how to join the table. Let's just look at any join table and to understand what is contained in this table. So when you select any kind of tables, it displays all the high quality models under that table, and you begin to understand, okay, what is this one trying to say? Or it is measuring different metrics for all the banks in Washington State. So in this example, that you can easily select any kind of things and drill down into any kind of banks in the Washington State and try to understand some key APIs, key CPIs from them. You can also see what is the query that generated behind the scene. It joins the time series data, which collected over time for the financial metrics. And also it knows that to join with the attributes, so it understands what is the metrics, the information about the metrics, and also it joins with the geographic information so that you know that you get the data from a specific region. And in here, you get a basic understanding what is in the data. And then you can also keep exploring with other topics, try to understand, some kind of other, important topics that we generate from this data. Once you get a good understanding of the data, now you can begin to ask natural language questions on top of it. For example, we know this data contains the labor price, that is the price metrics for different goods. So let's just ask something that we really care about. For example, did the fuel price become more expensive in average? So when you ask these questions, that the LDM begin to looking at all the high quality models and the models to generate and understand what is the best proper data model to answer this question. You see that it generates gasoline only the regular. It is just one type of the fuel that probably that you care about different type, but this gives you a good understanding that a start point. And you can come and then say, okay, whether it is relevant, how relevant it is. And if you are looking for other metrics, now you have a better understanding what kind of things that you need to change so that you can begin to ask the right question, modify the data model to a different way so that you can best answer your question. Once you have this kind of data models ready, it's very important that we enable all kinds of actions on top of it. For example, you can chat with this data model. For example, you want to say what is the maximum value. Yeah, what is the maximum value here? And it will tell you it's about 372. And then you can also say what is the minimum value on this data, and then it will tell you it's around 200. And then beyond that, you can keep asking questions, even some natural questions in the chart to help to zoom into specific data models. You can also pick a set of data models and zoom in. So in Smart Apps, we give you the ability to fast find relevant high quality data models and then do actions on top of that. For example, we just showed the chart. There's also other actions that we can generate. In this demo, I want to show you one more action that what we want to do is we can begin to ask, pin the data models into the result. So one way is that we can keep asking this pricing issue. For example, we can ask whether the vegetable price becomes more expensive. You can see that it finds the CPI for fruits and vegetables. And then we can also say, does the food price become more expensive in general? And then it will give you a food at home, this kind of result. And then what you do is that you can keep pinning all this kind of informations, all this kind of things into the workspace. And then you begin to select the things that you just look at, the food, the vegetables, and all these kind of things. And then you begin to ask a question, can we generate more things out of it? Yes, one thing that we do at Smart Apps is that you can also generate a report. Report contain many important aspects. For example, you want to understand the basic summary for the thing that you select. You want to understand is there any highlights, any trends, any anomalies, or the other top key values that we can generate for this kind of things. Okay, let's just assume that you think the metrics are good and you want to just generate a report out of it. Let's just wait until the report is generated. This report is automatically generated based on you select the most relevant data models, and then you want to begin reasoning around it. You can see that in this report, we said, okay, it is possibly about average value fluctuation and growth. Once you save it, we also support it. You can save it as Word. So you can really just see it, modify the content, just look at the data and then understand what we want to analysis. You need to remember everything that we generate are hallucination free. LLM is a good way to control LLM to generate only factful result for you, so that we can easily see all the conclusion and summaries that we try to generate are rooted on your data. And this can be achieved in minutes, so that you get your fully fleet report talking about the trends, the top values, all these kind of things in minutes, which we think that greatly shorten the delivery time of business analytical result to the end user. I hope you enjoy this presentation. If you have any other suggestions or anything that you want to look, please come to our demo desk and we can demo the features to you, and see you in conference. Bye-bye.